All right, people. Good afternoon. Pushing into the late afternoon now, and it's time for one last look at Pro Football Focus this year. One last pair of videos where we take a look at what Pro Football Focus thought about the Seahawks in their most recent game. And I know that we have mixed views on Pro Football Focus around here, like most football fans do, but I think they are a useful and intriguing resource that you can use, even if you don't always end up agreeing, and even though they sometimes end up getting things wrong. I think before the season started, they had Sam Darnold ranked as like the 27th best quarterback in the league or something, so they can get to the wrong destination, but that doesn't mean the work they do to get there is worthless. All right, so we're going to start with the offense here, which is certainly the less impressive side of the ball, and then we'll do the defense later. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right, guys, hold up because my friends at Sleeper are introducing some new features, and I want to tell you guys about them before we go any further. Sleeper is launching Team Picks, a new prediction market product. So now, on top of all the over-unders you can pick over on their Sleeper app, you can now pick on games. For instance, if you take a look to my left on the screen right now, you can see you can make a pick on the Super Bowl. They also have some bonuses available on over-unders for players. So there's now way more stuff you can get up to over on Sleeper. Get on over there before the Super Bowl, and don't forget to use the promo code SBN for a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. And don't forget to utilize the free $20 entry that you get just for making an account. So the Super Bowl is almost here. Make sure you get on Sleeper and have some fun with sports. All right, so the number one player on the Seahawks offense yesterday, and it was not close, was Abraham Lucas. And Abe Lucas has had a good season, right? Like, Abe Lucas has been a good player for us. He's stayed on the field for every snap we've asked him to play. He never got hurt this year, and he's been good. But yesterday, that may have been his best game of the year. Look at how well he was graded. Almost a 90 overall. Pass block grade was completely clean. Run block grade was elite. That was as good a game as Abe Lucas has ever played in his life, and it came against a good defense. Not necessarily an elite edge rusher. It's not like he was going up against Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or anything like that, but that definitely stood out. And how nice is it that we got that guy on an extension before the season started instead of trying to do it now, right? Trying to extend that guy now would be a lot more painful than it was last offseason, so pretty darn cool. AJ Barner, second place. He's out there doing his job. He's blocking. He's catching passes. He's converting first downs. He obviously had the only offensive touchdown of the game for Seattle. And he's just continued to put in work pretty much every game he plays. He puts in work every week. And I know he's not Trey McBride or healthy George Kittle, but really, really useful player to have around, man. And I'm happy that it was him that got to score the only offensive touchdown of the game for Seattle. If anybody deserved it, it was him. Because he's not somebody that everyone in the league is talking about right now, but he is so good to have around. Charles Cross, third place. The bronze medal went to Charles Cross. He had a really good game overall as well. Both tackles did. Most of the pressure New England got came off the edges or was unblocked on blitzes. And we have this tackle tandem locked up for a long time. Lucas and Cross, they're going to be here a while. And right now, that's feeling really good, right? There were times where people wondered about it a little bit, but right now, can't say anything about it. We've got Cross on a big deal. We've got Lucas on a deal that seems like a bargain right now after the year he just had, in my mind. Ken Walker, fourth place. Really, the main reason why he didn't finish in the top three was because of the drop and then some pass blocking stuff. As a running back, he was obviously phenomenal. It wasn't just the yards. He had to work hard to get those yards, right? Like, it wasn't just, oh, I'm going to go run for 130 yards or whatever. No, he ran for 135 yards that were hard to get. He had to work. And if not for some pass protection stuff and I guess the drop, it would have been even a little bit better. Gray's Abel up here as well, even though he ended up giving up quite a bit in pass protection. his run blocking was considered so good in this game, they still thought he was one of our best offensive players. Then there's a little bit of a drop off to guys that were just kind of sort of okay. Eric Saubert, 64.7. Cooper Kupp, 63.2. Mostly because his run blocking grade was a little bit disappointing, which is interesting. Alani, workable. Again, nothing over the top great, but fine. Shaheed, not a huge impact in this game directly, but 61.5. Speaking of 61.5, Sam Darnold, which, I mean, I get it. He did not play his best game. He missed throws that he normally makes, but still not a bad game, right? You would still live with that, knowing what this team is and how they're built. You got a couple guys here who barely played, Oluwatimi and Derek Young, not much to say there. Then you kind of get down into some of the players that were not considered so well. And leading the way there would be Anthony Bradford, who had a miserable pass blocking grade, but actually a nice run blocking grade. Read into that as you will. That's kind of capturing, I think, the Anthony Bradford experience in this game. He could not keep up with Barmore and Milton in the middle, but he was able to put in some work as a run blocker. And look, that's what's important to this team a lot of the time. They are a running team. And in this game, they ran to victory. JSN, one of the lowest graded Seahawks in this game. I mean, he didn't produce much and he did kind of sort of have a drop. But at the same time, man, if Darnold does what he's done all year and hits him on that second drive, that's an 86-yard touchdown pass. And the game feels like it's going to probably be over in the first half. By halftime, it already feels like the game's a wrap if he hits that. And Darnold just overthrew him a little bit. So even there, it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. But it's not like JSN did anything wrong in that game, in my view. Jake Bobo didn't really factor in very much. 53.9, whatever. Sundell got whipped a little bit in pass protection. He also had the only offensive penalty of the game. It was in garbage time, I know. But not a really good game for Sundell. And we've got a decision to make this offseason. Do we rock with Sundell in 2026 or do we go for the home run ball in Linderbaum? And everybody's going to have their own opinion of that, but he did not play very well. I thought he whiffed on some outside blocking as well. Josh Jones only played 3 snaps, didn't get graded well, but doesn't mean anything. And taking up the rear, Elijah Arroyo, no real impact in this game. Run blocking, he got absolutely slaughtered on. 41.9. Just not his season. He'll come back next year and be better, but we'll see. I mean, AJ Barner has firmly grasped the role of number 1 tight end on this team. I just don't know if I see that changing radically because AJ Barner is such a good fit for what this offense wants to do with their running game. All right, digging a little bit deeper into some of the Pro Football Focus stuff, taking a look at the passing stuff with Darnold. No big-time throws in this game. I'm surprised they didn't give him one for that Cooper Kupp completion on the first drive, but nothing. And they also gave him one turnover-worthy play. I wonder which one it was. There were a couple. They could have done. So, not not really a standout game. Again, I think we all know that he did not play a great game. We did have more drops than we usually do. PFF said that we dropped 3 passes in that game. We have dropped very few passes this year, so that was a problem. And luckily it didn't cost us, but this year we have been one of the best teams in the league at not dropping passes. So a little bit unfortunate. And the passing chart for Darnold, not a ton to say overall. Just kind of whatever. Decent stuff, but nothing over the top. Hit 1 deep shot. Not even really a deep shot. It was kind of a deep out to Cooper Kupp. I think this is the Cooper Kupp play. We missed on everything else. I mean, Darnold tried, man. We had 7 attempts of more than 20 yards down the field and only completed the 1. Frustrating, for sure. Did a little bit better in the intermediate. Still not his best, but okay. Did some decent work short, and then we had the 1 screen to Walker that went for 20 yards. That was great, but definitely not his best work. But at the same time, he was pressured a lot. He was pressured on almost half of his dropbacks, and he dealt with the pressure really well. So sometimes it's not quite that simple. Receiving stuff, again, I just want to see who played in the slot in this game, and we kind of went back to the regular season of approach where Cooper Kupp was the guy who was in the slot most of the time, 18 snaps in the slot. But JSN actually got a lot of snaps in the slot in this game as well, 12. So we mixed it up a pretty good amount. We came at this game from a few different directions. And it's interesting to note that after a regular season where JSN almost became exclusively an outside receiver, during the postseason, we really started putting him in the slot more. He also saw 8 slot snaps for AJ Barner. So it was mostly just those 3 guys, but we did go back to Cooper Kupp in the slot a little bit more than anybody else. He spent more than half of his snaps in the slot. So very interesting. JSN, we we saw a little bit more slot stuff with him when the games got a little more serious. By the way, they gave 1 drop to Kupp, 1 drop to JSN, and 1 drop to Walker. I think most of us knew that, but just to show how Pro Football Focus quantified it. All right, so that is the receiving stuff there. Looking at receiving versus coverage, you can see Cooper Kupp getting opportunities to make plays against pretty much everybody on the Patriots defense, it felt like. And JSN too, right? Like he had a couple targets against Gonzalez, but he also had one against a defensive end, Jennings, a couple on Marcus Jones, one on Carlton Davis, Craig Woodson, Robert Spillane. So honestly, the Seahawks were able to get favorable matchups for JSN, and it just didn't really amount to much. So the idea was right. Like you can see, JSN's getting defended by safeties and linebackers and substandard corners, and it just didn't amount to very much. And it does show that we had the right idea. It's just sometimes things don't go your way, and luckily this team is so good they can win anyway. All right, so that's all the receiver stuff. Now let's take a look at some running stuff, specifically the rushing directions totals, one of my favorites. So the thing that really stands out here, I think, would just be the success we had running outside the box. Left end was 4 attempts, 39 yards, 9.8 yards per attempt. Now, most of it was on one long 30-yard carry, but still a lot of productive running over there. And off right end was 7 attempts, 29 yards, so that's a little over 4. That's good too. It's not amazing, but this team found a good amount of success when they ran the ball to the outside. Other than that, middle right, they had the 129-yard run running up, what is that, A gap? I think it's A gap. Maybe it's B gap, but I think it's A gap. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. But we had the 29-yard run there, but other than that, running up the middle, it was all right. Middle left was okay, but running like off tackle was not so great. Not a lot of success running off tackle to the other side either. So overall, you would say it's pretty good running, right? Pretty good success. And it's something that you can feel pretty good about, I think. But the main thing that I come away with here is outside zone running. When we ran to the outside, good things happened for the most part. That's where we busted some of our big plays, and that's where we made a lot of the magic happen. But there is inconsistency in this run game, and that's what you're going to get with Walker sometimes, and I'm down with that. You know, sometimes these carries don't go anywhere, but sometimes they go for 30 yards. Okay, so that's the rushing direction stuff. Pass protection. Not bad, not their best game of the year, but decent from the offensive line, from the blocking. Could have been better. There were problems. So you got Abe Lucas here, who's clean. Byrd, only 3 pass blocking snaps, but clean. AJ Barner was clean. Didn't get graded overly well, but clean in terms of what he allowed. You got Charles Cross, who allowed 1 quarterback hurry the whole game. Graded well. You've got George Halani, who did allow 1 quarterback hurry as well, but he's a running back, so he gets dinged a little bit more for that, but 1 hurry. Ken Walker allowed 1 quarterback hit, which, look, he's a running back, and he's not a good blocker anyway. We know this, so it's not a surprise, but we had to put him in that position a little bit more than we maybe wanted to with no Charbonnet, and you saw the problem. So we got that, but that stuff, relatively minor. The big leaky points in the offensive line in pass protection yesterday were Gray's Abel, allowed 5 pressures. So he was the guy who was really getting whipped, graded pretty poorly. Jalen Sundell, 3 pressures as a center, which is really bad. And Anthony Bradford, who allowed a sack and 2 hurries for 3 total pressures. And he got graded abysmally. So it's not a surprise. I don't think I'm saying anything that anybody will be shocked by. But yeah, there were issues in this game, and our interior in particular got whipped. And that's what I was worried about in this game. And I mean, I think we win anyway because our defense was so good, but we got to give it up to Sam Darnold for doing a great job moving around in the pocket, extending plays, and still, at the very least, avoiding a game where he just got whipped in the pocket over and over again, because this absolutely could have been a game where we got smacked around, or well, specifically Darnold could have gotten sacked 6 or 7 times. And it didn't happen, and that's part of the reason why we won, and New England didn't, because Drake May, for as much as he is a more mobile quarterback than Sam Darnold, he couldn't escape. And run blocking, again, the only thing I really look at here is just zone versus gap. We ran about a little bit more than twice as much zone compared to gap, 21-10 approximately. So definitely a bigger focus on zone in this game, and it worked. We ran the ball well. We rode our running game to victory in many ways. So I don't really look at the grading here. I guess some of it's interesting, but I don't know. It's a little bit harder to see where the sausage is made, so I don't want to lean too heavily on the run blocking grade. But zone versus gap, you can clearly see dedication and focus on running a zone-based scheme, which is the right thing to do for this team for the most part. Okay, so that'll do it for this week. And, well, no, it won't do it for this week. It'll do it for this video, because we got to do the defense in a couple hours. But that'll be the last time we do a game breakdown from Pro Football Focus. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a great rest of your day. See you guys soon. I'll probably be on Twitch tonight, so come check that out. And yeah, good game. Not great from the offense, but they're champions. Go Hawks.